Hello my viewers and welcome back to my channel. I will come to a groundbreaking video where we will uncover the hidden secrets of America's ancient past. For centuries, we've been taught that ancient Egypt was a far-off civilization separated from by time and space. But what if I told you that the truth is much closer to home? Join me on a journey as we explore the fascinating connections between ancient Egypt and America. From the Mississippi River being the true Nile to the pyramids of the Americas and the mysterious underground city in the Grand Canyon, we'll take a look into the astonishing evidence that's been hidden in plain sight. Now, in these videos, different people share their remarkable findings and insights, challenging everything we thought we knew about history. So get ready to have your mind blown as we venture into the unknown and uncover the secrets of ancient America. Take a look at these videos. I will be right back.
Common sense is at an all-time low and denial is a must. That's why I'm going to present you with the facts and expect you to do the heavy lifting with your critical thinking. First and foremost, the Mississippi River is the true Nile. In Isaiah 11:15, it says, "And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river and shall smite it in the seven streams and make men go over dry shod." That's what it says. The Nile does not do this. But you know what does? The Mississippi. Second point. The Mississippi still runs through the ancient cities that it ran through in the beginning of time: Thebes, Cairo, and Memphis. You have been made to believe that we named our cities after modern-day Egypt, when in fact that is not true. Modern-day Egypt named its cities after our cities in ancient America, which is also ancient Egypt. And before this video gets too long, I'm just gonna add in a final point. Did you know that the Americas have more pyramids than the entire planet combined? Yeah. We'll get into the Grand Canyon on the next video. 90% of the Grand Canyon is off limits to the general public, which is backed by military services. But why? In 1908, President Teddy Roosevelt decided that he wanted to protect the canyon from timber and mining operations. With this knowledge, a gentleman by the name of G.E. Kincaid, along with the Smithsonian professor by the name of S.A. Johnson, decided that they were going to get a group together to do one final mineral expedition before it closed. What they discovered, however, was completely unexpected. About 40 miles upriver from El Tivar Crystal Canyon, they discovered sediment stains that didn't make sense for Arizona, USA. In addition to that, they also noticed a cavern entrance with steps leading up to it that was clearly a man-made structure. Once inside, they found an intricate underground city that could fit up to 50,000 people. There were ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs on the wall, granaries, tools made of copper. It did make sense. What all of this pointed to was an ancient civilization with advanced technology in America, in Arizona, with connections to ancient Egypt. After finishing his exploration, G.E. Kincaid, recognizing the massiveness of this discovery, decided that he needed to go back and take an even larger group and bring the Smithsonian along. But they weren't going to allow him to do that. In fact, they offed him. And now, in 2024, the Smithsonian completely denies all accounts of this and calls it a hoax. But
alright, so to marry.
Have y'all ever wondered why America is ancient Egypt? A lot of people call America Turtle Island because it's the home of the reptiles. This is the land of Kemet, but the original name is Taup Marie. So along the Nile River in Africa, you have cities like Cairo, Karnak, Memphis, Egypt. Now in America, you have Karnak, Egypt, Cairo, Memphis, the same cities in Africa. This is what you call a mirror tribe, people who share the same cultures. A lot of people going to the Middle East looking for the Holy Land. The whole time, it's right here in America. The proof is right in front of our face. It's pyramids everywhere on our land. Even in Las Vegas, they have the hotel paying homage to the Egyptians. It's even carvings on the walls in America of us playing with the snakes. They replicated this same stuff and brought it to the New Egypt. We are the original snake clan from Turtle Island. We are the parents to the Egyptians in Africa. It's even on the money. We had our own kingdom set up over here. The females sat on the throne and they was the rulers. Egypt, Illinois was the capital of the world. Even your god Horus, he was a falcon, and a falcon is only native to America. And then one day, Alexander would come along and conquer the people of America. He would kill the men and take the females and children in as slaves. He would then keep all these people gold and silver for himself. He would then build his own library, hiding all the stolen treasures and merchandise in there. So I told y'all the females ruled ancient America. Alexander the Great made his library a female library, calling it the Great Library of Alexandria instead of Alexander. He would be responsible for the fall of ancient America. But one day, his library would mysteriously burn down. But what really happened, they moved all the stolen treasure to the Vatican. It's a lot of hidden treasures beneath this city. This stuff go back centuries, y'all. Y'all don't even know. But this is how all our history was lost. They stole all of our history and hid it from us, literally, beneath castles. These invaders conquered the people and sat in the queen's seat. But she is back on the rise now. And those that suppressed her are crumbling now at her feet.
Now, these videos present a fascinating perspective on the connections between ancient Egypt and America, and the evidence is intriguing. The sisters' first point about the Mississippi River being the true Nile is supported by the fact that the Mississippi River is indeed one of the longest rivers in the world, stretching over 2,300 miles from Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, her second point about the Mississippi River running through ancient cities is also backed by history. The cities of Cairo and Memphis, for example, have been continuously inhabited for thousands of years with evidence of ancient civilizations dating back to the Hopewell and Mississippian cultures. The fact that the Americas have more pyramids than the entire planet combined is a staggering statistic. While many people associate pyramids with ancient Egypt, there are indeed numerous pyramids scattered throughout the Americas, including the famous Cahokia Mounds in Illinois and the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico. Regarding the Grand Canyon, it is true that 90% of it is off limits to the general public, and the reason for this is indeed shrouded in mystery. While the official explanation is that it's for environmental protection, many theorize that there may be more to it. The story of G.E. Kincaid and the Smithsonian professor's expedition to the Grand Canyon is also a real event. In 1909, Kincaid and his team did indeed discover an intricate underground city in the Grand Canyon, complete with ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and advanced technology. While the mainstream narrative has dismissed this founding as a hoax, many believe that there may be truth to it. Now, according to research, 150 years ago, Americans could not match the scholars of France, Germany, and Great Britain in the study of ancient Egypt. Americans were concerned with their own future in their own land, were engrossed in the struggle between the North and the South, and had only a slight curiosity about Egypt as a land which figured rather unpleasantly in the Bible. In the years between 1894 and 1914, the pursuit of Egyptology shifted from the pleasant and leisurely avocation of the wealthy amateur to the serious and dedicated vocation of the professional. Two Americans, James Henry Breasted and George A. Resner, won international recognition and occupied the first two chairs of Egyptology established in this country. A similar change was taking place in parallel archaeological fields, but the concern of this book is limited to the study of ancient Egypt. Now, according to this article, Comparing Ancient Egypt or America, it says in comparing ancient Egypt and modern-day Americas, I found a few similarities and differences in their everyday lifestyles. Things like religion, government, social class, writing, and their job specializations. It was surprising to me to find out that the ancient Egyptians' way of living was somewhat like ours. Of course, there are heavier differences, but still, they were very modern for their times. Also, I'm in strong belief that we learned many things that are in our culture today from ancient Egypt. In the category of job specialization, the Egyptians had no real big corporations like we do today, but much simpler jobs. Some examples of their jobs are artisans who were skilled craft workers, bricklayers who built monuments, and many other things. The Egyptians also worried very much about the afterlife and made many preparations before the afterlife. Their graves were very important to them, and they also did much to keep them from decaying after they passed. That is why they had the idea of mummification to allow them to not decay long after they passed. We also pay a lot of money to allow us to keep from decaying on our burials and the coffins. The ancient Egyptians' government would be compared to us as a kind of monarchy. Their king was called the pharaoh, and everyone in the civilization listened to everything that he said. Every law and business transaction went through this man. In our day, we have only one leader, but thousands of others that decide the laws of our country. Now, in the last decade or so, controversies and wild speculations have swelled online around Grand Canyon National Park, and a newspaper article published by the Arizona Gazette on April 5th, 1909. The headlines read, "Explorations in the Grand Canyon, mysteries of immense rich cavern being brought to light, or Jordan is enthused. Remarkable finds indicate Asian people migrated from Orient." The Grand Canyon controversy is revealing in many ways and also disturbing in other ways. Now, the Grand Canyon article explains that an explorer named G.E. Kincaid had made the initial discovery and was joined by the Smithsonian scientist S.A. Jordan to study what was described as a wondrous labyrinthian honeycomb of man-made tunnels filled with seemingly Eastern treasures of golden urns, sophisticated copper tools, ancient artifacts, hieroglyphs, mummified remains, and statues whose iconography resembled those common to Hindu and or Egyptian cultures. If their theories are borne out by the tablets engraved with hieroglyphics, the mystery of the prehistoric peoples of North America, their ancient arts, who they were, whence they came, will be solved. Egypt and the Nile and Arizona and Colorado will be linked by a historical chain running back to ages, which will stagger the widest fancy of the fictionists. Now, modern-day skeptical writers, academics, and Smithsonian claim that this story is simply a piece of sensational yellow journalism. They insist it is a pure fabrication from top to bottom that preys on the spiritual yearnings of the gullible and superstitious public. On its surface, the article does appear improbable, at best, and at worst, a dishonest printing of fanciful tales to conjure up profits. The original author of the piece is anonymous, which does a disservice to either the believer and the skeptic camps, and there never was a follow-up article. The Smithsonian has publicly denied the story outright over 100 years later and denied any records verifying the existence of Kincaid or Professor Jordan. The story also asserts that a Smithsonian archaeologist named S.A. Jordan returned with Kincaid to investigate the site. However, the Arizona Gazette appears to have been the only newspaper ever to have published the story. No records can confirm the existence of either Kincaid or Jordan. Naturally, the academic community toes the party line without question. Now, alternative researchers clamor online, insisting this is an elaborate cover-up. They claim that there does exist a forbidden zone within Grand Canyon National Park, which completely forbids anyone to hike, camp, or explore there. They also point to the curious names of the landmarks in this allegedly off-limits area, and they even go as far as to suggest that shadow branches of the federal government secretly monitor the entire area. In the more extremist alternative factions, this is only the tip of the proverbial iceberg as they expand the scope into a complex conspiracy of subterranean reptilian overlords that manipulate the ruling elite class. The objective researcher is justified in questioning the credibility of a newspaper and an anonymous author, but on the reverse side of that same token, this same researcher would be naive to blindly accept the mainstream narrative presented by a government institution that absolutely does have a conflict of interest regarding the manipulation of the human history narrative. Now, this is especially true when it comes to the US government and the elevation of indigenous cultures in the early 20th century. So what is the reality? Whose word is to believe? We have finally come to the end of the video, but I want you, my viewers, to share your thoughts, your knowledge, your contributions in the comment section, and let's have a conversation there. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.